Hi everyone, my name is Splin and every Friday I issue a video digest of the motorcycle news. It came somewhat unnoticed, but KTM presented a quite significantly updated 2023 version of the 1290 Super Adventure S. Let's have a closer look. First of all, there are no critical change. It's still a flagship dual sport model of KTM with semi-active suspension, adaptive cruise control and highly technological 1300cc engine delivering 160 horsepower. But quite unexpectedly, KTM changed the frame. Its revised chrome-molybdenum stainless steel trellis frame features a steering head that's been located 15mm to the rear of the previous version. Meanwhile, the front engine mount was rotated forward by just 2 degrees, which helps the mass of the engine to keep the front end on the ground under hard acceleration. While KTM was it, the team also redesigned the side stand. There are more changes. KTM also extended the swing arm by 15mm. There is that number again to improve stability, and the semi-active suspension was upgraded to the latest version. Also, it's not entirely clear what exactly the changes were. Transmission was also updated and the fuel tank was completely rebuilt. It has a capacity of 23 liters, it's made up of 3 sections and has an electronic cover as well as compartment for a phone or a wallet with USB outlet. The bike also got new handguards, LED turning light and new large 7-inch display. All in all, the changes are quite significant, even though the looks of the bike are pretty much the same. For me, it's somewhat unusual they changed the frame and swing arm because parts of air styling. It's not common for producers to do so. If you rode the previous version, please share in the comments if there was something wrong with it. The next news is good news for those who love two-stroke engines that are gradually dying off. As we know, the main reason for this non-compliance with the existing environmental standards, so now two-stroke engines are mostly used on non-street legal motorcycles. But the Italian company MOTORI managed to make a little miracle. Based on the Yamaha 250 engine that was produced from 2002 to 2022, Minarelli managed to develop a new two-stroke engine that meets EURO-5 requirements. It's a 300cc engine and it's expected to be used on the enduro bike Fantic XE300, which will be street legal. There are no details on how they managed to meet Euro 5. We know for sure that the engine has injection and some controller of the exhaust gas, which also performs the function of a decompressor. Minarelli claimed that the engine will have good performance but do not provide any specific numbers. Journalists believe that the output will be under 50 horsepower. Typical output for a two-stroke engine of such capacity. I'm really keen to know more detail. If the engine is good, not only Fantic will use it. Now let's talk a bit about technologies, and many might not like this news. MotoGP racing is extremely expensive. For example, Suzuki left the championship due to high cost to run a team as one of the main reasons. Teams have sponsors that contribute to the budget, but this is not always enough to pay all the costs. How do the sponsor ads work? MotoGP teams reserve the bike's side panels for a title sponsor, while smaller logos pepper everything from the front fairing to the tail unit. So the available surface is limited. The British company Seamless Digital thinks there is a solution to this problem as it develops flexible LCD screens for MotoGP bikes and race suits. The technology made its debut in Formula 1 in 2022 with the McLaren team that installed 2 units at the starboard and port sides of the cockpit. So, Seamless Digital is looking to replicate this concept on the motorcycle world, but not just on the motorcycles. And the race suit is especially challenging, as the race suit has to meet the safety requirements, even with all the controllers and batteries needed for the LCD screens. Let's see how it goes. If it's successful, it will be easier for the makers to cover the team's budgets. Now it's the time for some motorcycle gear news. Let's have a look at the new helmet by CABERG. CABERG has long had a popular touring motor helmet in the form of the Duke for nearly a decade now, and the company has recently updated it with a new model called Duke Evo. What is it different? Well, first of all, the helmet now meets the new ECE 2206 requirements. There is a dedicated video on the standard on the Russian version of my channel. Importantly, the helmet is homologated in both configurations, chin up and full face. The looks of the helmet didn't change a lot. The large visor and slightly extended chin area give the helmet a sleek, motored aesthetic, while the vents on the chin, top and rear blend is nicely with the lines of the helmet. The helmet is made of polycarbonate, it has a pin lock and sun visor. Inside the helmet is quite standard. It has an antibacterial fabric that's easily removable for washing and replacement when it's necessary. The helmet is equipped with cutouts for speakers, with the helmet being compatible out of the box with the ProSpeak Evo intercom system. Frankly, not the most popular intercom. All in all, the helmet is quite simple and the price is nice as well, €260 in Europe. I know that many of my subscribers are really mad at all the electric mobility stuff. Batteries are bad for the environment and electricity is made from coal, they say. But believe me, there are people who are even more mad at this topic. For example, lubricant producers, as the lubricants are not used in electric vehicles. So the lubricant producers are working hard to minimize the damage of the electric future for their business. And for example, MOTORI, the topic of this news, partnered with Green Corp Connection to jointly work on the stability of batteries. According to MOTORI, 3 factors hinder today's power packs: size, weight, lifespan and fast charging safety. To offset these deficiencies, GCK and MOTORI will focus on the EV thermal management by developing liquid immersed batteries. MOTORI claims that they have developed a dielectric fluid that can dissipate the heat and isolate the cells of the battery. The two firms aim to evaluate test units within the project's E-Lab car, a Lancia Delta Integrale. Frankly, not the best option to rebuild into an electric vehicle. According to the company, the future will be all about liquid immersed batteries. Let us see how it goes. Some evil news from Austria. The Minister for Climate Protection, Environment, Energy, Mobility, Innovation and Technology, no joke, that's the real name of the position, Leonard Gewessler, has publicly advanced the proposal to impose stricter penalties for motorists that excessively exceed speed limits. Speed limits in Austrian cities are reported to be 50 km per hour, while the motorway limit on the country is stated to be 130 km per hour. The penalties for any offenses are quite strict. For example, wheelies are banned not only on public roads but also on parking lots and so on, with fines from €300 to €10,000 and a possible impoundment of the bike for 72 hours. For speeding, one can get his car or bike impounded for up to 2 weeks. For the minister in question, definitely not enough. For speeding above 130 km per hour in the city and 220 km per hour on the motorway, he proposed to confiscate the vehicle and sell it in an auction. That's on top of the already existing penalties, which I would not call soft. I'm not trying to say that speeding is good, but what I believe in is that private property is sacred, and banning wheelies outside of public roads is stupid. Let's close the digest with news of an interesting adventure. In December 2021, employees of Royal Enfield decided to celebrate the 120th anniversary of the company in quite an exotic way by setting off to Antarctica on 2 Himalayan bikes. So 1 year ago the first episode of this travel came out. The duration of the episodes is below 10 minutes. The first episode tells us about how they prepared for the journey by training in Ireland and about what can go wrong when traveling on a motorbike in snow. You can find a link to this video in caption. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe. I would appreciate your feedback and comments. See you next Friday.